Hey guys, what's going on? Today is November 11th, 2019. Happy Veterans Day to all of you out there today. In this video, we're going to talk about the death of child Broadway actress Laurel Griggs, who was said to have died from a severe asthma attack at the age of only 13. And in this video, we're going to glance at the numerology of this event and question whether or not this little girl may have been murdered, as this was entirely by the code of letters and numbers. Now on this channel, we focus on numerology with a special emphasis on the language of Gematria, which is the practice of coding numbers into words. Now we're going to talk about this death, also the death of Marlboro man Robert Norris, who passed away at age 90 this week, and something that the media often does. And we're talking about this with both of these stories, where someone passes away, but the news doesn't hit the mainstream media for another several days. And this is always significant when this happens. So let's touch on the numerology here. Now, Laurel Griggs was born on the date June 28th, 2006, which for some reason doesn't pop up this time, but if you dig, you can certainly source that for yourself. Now, if you measure from her June 28th birthday to the date that this story made national headlines, it was a span of 136 days after her 13th birthday. Using the standard alphabetic order, where each letter is assigned a number 1 through 26 relative to its position in the alphabet, the name Laurel Griggs sums to 136. Now, this is an interesting number. The number 13, the age at which she died, is the 6th prime number. So right here we see a prime number relationship in her name. Laurel was born exactly 13 weeks after the most recent total solar eclipse, which occurred on March 29th, the same year she was born. And of course, she was born in the year 06. She made her Broadway debut in the year 13 in a play called Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, and at the time she was 6 years old, because it started in January before her 7th birthday. Then she died a little over 6 years later, and on the date she died, which was November 5th of 2019, she was exactly 130 days after her 13th birthday. And this 130, very significant in this language. The word or the phrase human sacrifice has a value of 130. In reduction, this phrase, as well as blood sacrifice, sums to 67. The name Griggs equals 67 in ordinal. 67, by the way, the 19th prime, this girl passing away in the year 2019. Now, when you write out the number 13 as it's spelled, it has double gematria of 45 in both reduction methods. Now, if you instead measure to the next total solar eclipse, which is on December 14th of next year, we find that she died exactly 405 days before the next total solar eclipse. A couple other interesting things. Notice how the number 13 sums to 117 in the reverse alphabetic order. Think about this as a date like January 17th. Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, in which Laurel Griggs made her debut, opened on the date January 17th. Also interesting, it finished on March 30th, the date written 330. This is a lot like the number 33. And actress Laurel Griggs, in Jewish Gematria, sums to 895, just like 33. The date that the media told us about her death even had a life lesson number of 33. Earlier this week, we saw something similar play out where Marlboro man Robert Morris passed away on November 3rd. However, the media did not report this until November 9th. And think about how this is in stark contrast to so many other deaths. Just today, for instance, we learned about the death of Charles Rogers, an American football player who was 38. And we literally found out about this death within a couple hours of him dying today, November 11th, and it's already in the media. So it tends to be significant when they wait. Now, when we're talking about the Marlboro man, he was born on April 10th of 1929. Now, if you look at his age on the date that the news told us about his death, he would have been exactly a span of 1,087 months old. This number, highly significant, always coded around death. 187, the homicide code. This coming from the California Penal Code. Using capital letters, which is this Frank Baconis cipher, which is the alphabetic order, but capital and small letters mixed together. Marlboro sums to 187. In Jewish or Latin Gematria, Marlboro sums to 313, and the date that we found out about his death was the 313th day of the year. 313, it's interesting. It seems like there's always riddles around this number. In the King James Bible, we're told that the number of the beast is 636, which sums to 313 in the alphabetic order. And this is interesting because the Marlboro man's name was Robert Norris, which sums to 636 in Jewish Gematria. The date we learned about this man's death also had numerology of 59, 11 plus 9 plus 20 plus 19. He was also known as Bob Norris, which sums to 59 in reverse. In extended gematria, Bob Norris equals 463. And this is a prime number, the 90th prime number. Marlboro man Bob Norris dying at age 90. So he passed away on the 3rd, and I want you to see how old he was exactly on this date. This number stuck out to me right away. 90 years, 207 days. Well, if we remove the zeros, as we do in numerology, this gives us the number 927. Using square numbers, which is the alphabetic order, but each number multiplied by itself prior to adding it to the equation, the word sacrifice sums to 927. And in English extended gematria, Marlboro man Bob Norris sums to 927, just like the age he was when he died. Also worth mentioning that in reduction, this sums to 99, and Marlboro cigarettes were introduced in 1920, which was 99 years ago. So, how clear is it that the media intentionally withholds news until a certain date when the numbers will line up? Speaking of Charles Rogers, seeing as this isn't a really long video, might as well just take a look at this guy. He passed away today. This guy was a former wide receiver in the NFL, played a couple years with the Detroit Lions. So he died at age 38, and this is a number we always see coded into death as well. The word death equals 38 using the standard alphabetic order. And what I'm also seeing is that he was 2,007 weeks and 2 days old. This is another number associated with death. In reverse satanic and trigonal gematria, the word death has double gematria of 272. This guy was 2,007 weeks, 2 days old, and he was 38 years old. Just want to look at today's numerology. 61, 34, those are our primary numbers, 41. You'll notice that Charles Rogers also has the 67 in full reduction. Remember, this number associated with blood sacrifice and human sacrifice, 67. Also notice how Charles Rogers sums to 203 in the reverse alphabetic order. This man was drafted in the year 2003. Also check out how he had 440 receiving yards during his career. 4, a number of ending in death. The word kill sums to 44 in the alphabetic order. He was also 24 weeks and 4 days after his birthday. The word kill, remember he had 440 receiving yards. Kill equals 44. Well, in Hebrew Gematria, remember Gematria coming basically from the Hebrew language, kill sums to 244, and he died 24 weeks, 4 days after his birthday. Oh, wow, look at this, guys. Charles Rogers equals 519 in Jewish Gematria. He died 5 months, 19 days after his birthday. So there's definitely more to be unraveled here. Also worth pointing out his Sumerian Gematria of 888. This makes me wonder if he died in relation to the total solar eclipse. Wow, guys, look at this. He died exactly 19 weeks after the 2019 total solar eclipse. Solar eclipse equals 190. The word kill equals 19 in Hebrew. And remember, his name, Charles Rogers, equals 67, which is the 19th prime number. So anytime I see this 888, this tells me that there was definitely an eclipse sacrifice in play. This is the Greek gematria of the name Jesus. The name Jesus summing to 888. And of course, this code comes from the Bible in the New Testament, where Jesus was crucified during an event which some believe to be a solar eclipse. This was likely just some sort of darkness in the sky. Could not have been a total solar eclipse that he was crucified under, but the symbolism is there. The death of the sun, the darkness of the sun in the sky. And then I guess we can also look at the next, total solar eclipse, December 14th of next year. He died exactly 57 weeks before that eclipse. Also the 399 days, the word murder sums to 399 in Jewish. Also 34 like today's date numerology. And then now it makes a little more sense. 61 for today's primary numerology. The name Jesus equals 61. And 34. And this is how you see it. You know, it's usually black athletes that are done away with this crucifixion code, it seems. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks to everybody who jumped in. Feel free to check out the blog. Had a few new posts. Took about a week off from blogging, but getting back lightly into it this week. Also, coming up in January, I have to renew the domain for gematrinator.com. This is something that, with all the various fees and securities, runs about $300 to $400. So for anybody who wants to pitch in on that, feel free to go to my PayPal link. Of course, I can afford the website, but it would be nice to not have to pay to give you guys this knowledge. So if you can contribute, don't feel obligated, but if you're in a position where you could, it would be greatly appreciated. All right, everyone. Thanks again. We'll talk to you all next time. See ya.